Yo, what is up, guys? Joker bringing you another video for Diablo 4. With the official release being a couple of days ago, I wanted to go ahead and make a video on one of the more daunting systems in D4, which is essentially the region progress, the Renown system, right? And go over kind of my opinions on it. Is it worth it? What the Renown system gives you, when you should start grinding the Renown, some mistakes that I made, some changes that I would have made to the way that I did it, and then kind of at the end of the video of if I feel like this should reset every season and would it be worth doing every season. So let's jump right into it. Starting this video off, what is Renown? Renown is going to be the points you receive for pretty much doing everything in D4. You clear a dungeon, you get an altar, you do a stronghold, waypoint, you discover the map. You're going to be receiving static points for your progress throughout the game, and then it's going to start charging these bars up until you hit certain milestones. These first three rewards are available to everyone as a level 1 character. These last two are gated behind World Tier 3, and then furthermore, it's divided into two sections. There's character rewards, and then, in my opinion, there's the much more important account-wide rewards. Because as an example of what Renown gives you, if you only, let's say you're not to World Tier 3 yet, if you only go and farm the Renown for the first three things, then you're going to be ending up with 10 skill points and 5 potions that you have access to. If that doesn't sound like a lot of power to you, you haven't really been playing. The 5 potions alone is like adding 200% to your effective EHP pool to help you push past boss fights or even push into the next tier. I actually used it to kind of face tank my first capstone dungeon so I could get into World Tier 3. I was just tanky enough that even though my damage sucked, I was able to eat enough hits that I was able to just push into World Tier 3 and help the progression of my character be a lot smoother. Apart from that, with the passive points, 10 passive points, since you cap out at level 50 and no longer receive passive points after that, is huge. Removing 10 passive points would be essentially removing this 12% damage, removing this 15% damage, and then I really don't have a lot of damage on my tree itself, and then removing this spirit generation, I guess, as an example, right? So the amount of power that you're going to be receiving from that is just insane. And then once you get past World Tier 3 and you clear the entire region, these 4 Paragon points, it is insane. It's almost as large, if not larger, than the static 10 passive points. For just clearing one region, you're going to be receiving 4 Paragon points, which is the equivalent of a level. As an example, right now, it takes 4 million EXP for me to level up right now. And this essentially gives me a free level, which in the Paragon system is huge. This is just 30% for a keystone, which these 4 points allowed me to get. Same thing over here. If you don't want to use a keystone as an example, you could use this. This is over 50% added damage to crowd controlled enemies. And then an extra 15% crit strike damage against those enemies. Don't want to use that example either? Fine, there's plenty more. If we go ahead and just look at these static nodes, what is that? 15%, 20% damage? And even right here, if it's attached to a glyph, which this is only a level 4 glyph, it's 8.4% power there. So now that I've shown kind of the massive benefit as like a direct example of the amount of power you get from Renown. All right, and moving over to the when you should start gathering Renown. I would say the earliest you want to start really grinding Renown, apart from the Renown you're getting statically, is going to be Act 4. Because this is going to be giving you your mount. The mount's normal walking speed is already faster than characters. On top of that, it has a sprint. On top of that, some characters don't even have movement abilities. And movement speed on boots seems to be like one of the rarest affixes that you can actually receive. So that's when I'd really suggest you start, is Act 4 at an early point. Besides that, if there was like an order of what I would say you grind first, it would go ahead and be waypoints, Lilith statues, and then the strongholds. Apart from that, the area discovery is going to be natural. The side dungeon, if your build needs any extra legendary powers, then yes, but the side dungeons can take a while. Some of them have you run around in circles for several minutes, so it's not really that effective. But things like the waypoints, the strongholds, the altars of Lilith, these are going to be the core of what you want to start grinding in Renown for a few points. These altars of Lilith are going to give you 4 Paragon points, 68 flat in each stat, and some other small benefits. The strongholds are going to be tier 2 levels higher than your current character, so it's going to be giving you an insanely large amount of EXP. It's going to give you a lot of good gear, and a lot of times it gives you waypoints or unlock side dungeons, so you have to get them done anyways. Waypoints, obvious, is the map is so huge that having waypoints unlocked is a necessity. I think there was a world event, yeah, over here, right? And if I had to travel from here to here, that'd be terrible. But since I get to travel from one of the closer waystones, it's a quality of life since the world events pop up any and everywhere. And having to do less foot travel and being able to do more waystone travel, even for these side quests, is such a good quality of life because once you're at the point I am where you have 9,000 renown, you're getting kind of burnt of having to run around the map. And if I wouldn't have gotten all of these waystones, I probably would have quit grinding renown a while ago after I walked around for like 15, 20 minutes gathering some base renown. Mistakes and changes that I would really say that I made while gathering renown would really be kind of not waiting until Act 4 is the biggest thing. I went ahead and I gathered majority of my Lilith statues on foot because I saw the static buffs that it gave me, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. I want that. I didn't know when I was going to unlock my mount, so I'm like, I'll just get it done now. Yeah, no, I would totally suggest waiting until you have a mount to start gathering renown. That was probably my biggest mistake. Apart from that, the second biggest mistake would be not accepting side quests. You want to have your side quest maxed out majority of the time. You're able to take 20 side quests at a time, and the reason why that you want to have them maxed out is a lot of times it's going to be putting you back into a dungeon. A lot of the side quests go into dungeons, and I cleared so many of these dungeons and I had to re-clear them when I got the side quest for them just because of the fact that it didn't count. You have to have like that side character NPC with you to find their dead friend in the dungeon to actually get credit for it. So it's easier, it's better, it's more efficient to just pick up all the side quests and then run the side dungeons when you see there's a mission in them, because at that point it kind of counts for a twofer. You're going to receive the points for clearing the dungeon, and then you're going to receive the points for clearing the side quest. So it's pretty much essentially killing two birds with one stone. That's pretty much the only mistake or change that I would have made, of picking up all the side quests and waiting for a mount. Circling back to the beginning, rounding this video out of, do I feel renown is worth it? Yes, especially once you get in the game, you're gonna have to really get the renown if you want to have any amount of power. Just because without the renown system, you're gonna be losing at least 20, 30, 40% player power. I'm not being hyperbolic about that at all. It is that massive of a chunk of damage increase with all these benefits you get from not only the Lilith statues, but the Paragon points and the passive points. Like it's the potions, it's just so much player power that it's not a if, it's more of a you have to do this, which is a little daunting because this is a 30, 40, 50 plus hour grind to get this done, which brings me to kind of my last talking point of, should this reset on every season? Honestly, in my opinion, I think this is a part where most people are going to disagree. But Yes, I think the Renown should reset every season, and hear me out on why. A lot of seasonal game modes, I have 6,000 plus hours in Path of Exile. Old school RuneScape's not a good example, but I have thousands of hours in those new seasons that they started doing. I'm a big seasonal game mode player, and I think something like this is good for the longevity of Diablo 4 seasons because it's going to have a lot more players in the open world that we're able to see and interact with, as opposed to something like Path of Exile, where once you're done, there's not really a whole lot that you really do. I mean, you can grind out another build, you can make currency. There's really nothing else like this in PoE, where it's like, okay, I need to set a good amount of time aside, but once I do that, I'm going to get 40% power on my character. There's nothing really like that in PoE. So I feel like it is a really good thing to reset. It's one of those end game grinds that will extend your season for an additional 30, 40, 50 hours. And depending on how many hours that you're able to actually play, let's say you're only able to play 4 or 5 hours, that's extending it for an additional 10 days for you, pretty much cutting another chunk of the season out and making the waiting time for the next season even smaller. So, yeah, I feel like this should reset every season. And that's going to be pretty much wrapping up this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. Apart from that, I might start streaming on Kick because Twitch is being really about a lot of stuff. So I'll let you guys know about that. But there is going to be a lot more D4 content coming up because I'm only level 69. There's still a lot of stuff I have to do. I have to reach level 100. I have to defeat the pinnacle boss. I have to all before season 1. So there is going to be a lot of more, a lot of additional videos coming up of things that I find with either tips and tricks to help you and stuff like that. Probably not build guides because I'm probably just going to take this druid to level 100. But like I said, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. And until next time, take care.